How many people own one that has a 14 in the model number, like an 814 or 614, 714? Cool. Or starts with the GA like this one. That's the grand auditorium. If you asked me what a Taylor sounded like, I would grab this shape and this tone wood combination. This is a rosewood back and sides, spruce top. In fact, the 4 shapes I'm going to show you all have rosewood back and sides, spruce tops. So we can kind of compare them just on the shape alone. Keep the woods the same. Grand Auditorium is the Swiss Army knife of the Taylor line. It does everything really well. It has the same lower bout. This is the lower bout, waist, and upper bout. It has the same lower bout dimensions as a dreadnought, the big square traditional shaped guitar. So it has a big loud strumming voice. But one of the cool things about this guitar is this waist is pinched in a little bit. Somebody came with me at before the show, was talking about having some shoulder issues, and the nice thing on this, when you sit down with it, it sits lower on your leg, so you can wrap around a little bit better. You don't have to get up on a step stool to get around it. The person that asked me is not as vertically challenged as I am too. So it kind of sits a little lower, allows you to wrap around it, and it's designed a little bit more for fingerstyle. In fact, a lot of the prototypes too, because it controlled some of that overtones that was famous for acoustically, but guys here in Nashville hated sticking a mic in front of and trying to control some of those overtones. This one, a lot of the prototypes in the early 90s came here to Nashville, and actually the studio cats loved it because they could stick a mic in front of it and everything's EQ'd, ready to go, and they can record an acoustic guitar part really quick. So kind of the Swiss Army knife does every style really well. Well, the second shape I'd like to talk about is the GS, or Grand Symphony. This is the biggest shape that we make, the loudest guitar. It's our big, bold strummer, where we have the Swiss Army knife there. And you can tell the shapes are pretty similar. In fact, last night, I did my whole Grand Auditorium spiel holding this guitar, because when I turned around and grabbed it, I grabbed the wrong one. It's pretty similar. The waist is actually moved up a little bit and out, so it opens up this lower bout, which gives it a whole extra gear underneath. It still has a nice top end and balance that Taylor's known for, but it has a little more low end presence, a little more punch, almost like having an extra gear. Cool, and tonight is totally okay to play favorites. We're all guitar nuts, and we all like different things, so if you hear a guitar that you really like, compare the other ones to it, and kind of say, I like that one better than this one, or this one better than that one. My favorite body shape is the Grand Concert. It's the smallest body shape we make. As I said earlier, I'm vertically challenged, so it's nice and comfortable for me to play. And one of my favorite things to do, although I can't say that here, I haven't been to a football town yet this week, but is watch my San Diego Chargers win on Sunday afternoons while I sit and watch them play, and I play guitar all day. That's a perfect Sunday afternoon for me. This guitar is what I grab and pick up and sit on the couch with. Because it's smaller, kind of invites you to wrap around it. It's also shallower this way. And another thing is the scale length, the distance between the saddle and the nut here is a little bit shorter than the rest of our guitars. So everything about this guitar just kind of invites you to kind of wrap around it and play. It was designed with a fingerstyle guitarist named Chris Proctor, and so the smaller top for fingerstyle works really good because it doesn't take as much energy of the right hand to get that whole top moving and get that tone out of it. But because it is smaller, it kind of does what the Grand Auditorium does to the dreadnought to the other ones. It controls and focuses the sound even more, so a lot of the lows come out, a lot of the top end comes out, and gives a real focused sound. So this guitar amplified is really cool. It fits really well in the mix. And we were talking, you know, since we're in Nashville, and we've been driving through Kentucky, we were listening to country music the whole week, and my favorite thing about country music is the sonic space is there. It's super well defined. You hear the bass line, you hear this pedal steel, you hear everything. It has its own spot, where a lot of modern music is just kind of this wall of mush kind of here. And this guitar works really well when you have that huge wall behind you. You have a small sonic footprint, and you can actually amplify and get really loud with this. So it's kind of our secret weapon for that reason.
It's a hugger. I had one of these built with a cutaway in mahogany and cedar top. It was a GC5 slot head, very similar. For the Bette Midler show, for exactly why Barney was what he was talking about. And that's we had probably a 17 or 18 piece band, 6 horns, 3 singers, drummer, 2 keyboard players, bass player, percussionist, and 2 guitar players. So on some of the acoustic songs, the last thing you want to do is have like this huge guitar sound that, you know, takes up the entire frequency response. So this is very focused, and you could hear the GC right in the mix, you know, with all the other instruments. So it's a great instrument for playing with groups. It's nice. Oh, thank you.
Yes?
Could you bang on that thing a little more aggressively when we
Yeah. Chicken strum too. Especially with a spruce top, you can dig right in. Mine was a mahogany with a cedar top, and it was a mellower sound, took even less energy to play fingerstyle, get it going. But if you strum real hard on a cedar top, it kind of reaches a point where it won't give you any more. It's like it's kind of compressed, but this works great as a strumming guitar. It's a hugger and a strummer.
Sounds like a Steve Miller song.
Yeah, right. It's a hugger. I like that.
Cool. This is the most traditional of the body shapes that we make. If you ask your Aunt Bessie what a guitar looked like, this is probably the shape she would describe. This is the dreadnought. Martin invented it in 1916, and it's kind of that traditional acoustic guitar tone. In fact, when we pulled these all out of the box on Tuesday afternoon, I was pulling out of the boxes and Wayne was tuning them, and he hit that low E, and I knew exactly which guitar he pulled out just because it's such a familiar sound, and it's kind of that more traditional acoustic guitar tone. Still has the balance and top end in our dreadnoughts, but it definitely has more of that low mids that gives it just kind of that sing-along guitar.
big sound.
Cool, those are the 4 body shapes that we make. Any questions on the body shapes? Cool. So we have the Grand Auditorium, which is the Swiss Army knife, does everything really well. We have the GS, or Grand Symphony, which does the big, bold strummer. You have the little Grand Concert, fingerstyle, or secret weapon, and then you have the more traditional dreadnought sound, more familiar sound.